friends, I am Kanchan and you are welcome to Akulmach. And you know that we discuss a lot of varieties of subjects in our show. And today I am happy to really discuss about one of the interesting personality, President Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam. You know, today is World Student Day, and this is also on 15th October 1931. APJ Abdul Kalam, President, was born in Rameshwaram. And though he was a very studious kind of person, though he had many challenges during his student time. To discuss more about this interesting personality, we have Sitesh Srivastava, who has a deep interest in corporate training, education, and he has also training, marketing, and IT professional. So welcome to the show, Sitesh. How are you today?
Thank you, Kanchan, for this wonderful day and the wonderful conversation. As always, I'm very, very well and more excited to talk about our great, loving president, former president, Dr. APJ Kalam. How have you been, by the way?
Yeah, I'm fine. We in Hyderabad actually facing a lot of rains here, and life is little bit disrupted due to this heavy rains. But then we are at home. But for people who are really working in a frontline professional, I think it will be very, very challenging for them.
Yeah, I could see some of those footages on television. Well, today is a very interesting day, Kanchan, and personally, like everyone else in India, I feel privileged that Mr. Dr. APJ Kalam was produced in India. He grew up in India, and he was a true Indian as such. And the word that is missing or is less and less seen, he was a true Indian. And we celebrating his birthday, and this needs to be celebrated on a larger scale by all the schools, by all the institutions, by all the universities. Of course, government is celebrating it, and it should be, I would not say it should be declared as a holiday, though the students would like it, but it should be declared as taking a pledge into education. It is also part of, his birthday is also part of the World Students Day. So that's so interesting, and as I said, I'm very privileged to have Dr. Kalam as part of the contribution from India. What do you say?
Yes, as you mentioned that we are celebrating World Student Day, but as I was also mentioning that during his childhood, he had a very challenging life, and he also sold newspaper from door to door. But he was very interested in getting education, and that resulted in the future. And whatever he has done, see, he worked as a chief scientific advisor to PM and played a major role in Pokhran second nuclear test. A part of this, he also led India's two major science research organization, but one is Defense Research and Development Organization, which we call DRDO, and Indian Space Research, which is ISRO. So he is credited with the pioneering work of development and marketing indigenous guided missile Agni and Prithvi. So the contribution he has done in science is tremendous. And that's why he is being celebrated. That's why he is being time and again recalled due to his lifestyle, which was very simple, due to his contribution in science. And also he was a very able president of India.
That's right.
One of the great president of India.
Of course. And there is a reason that he was conferred with Bharat Ratna, the highest civilian award, and all the other civilian awards like Padma Bhushan, Padma Vibhushan, and of course Bharat Ratna. And I think the essence of Dr. APJ Kalam is the essence of India itself. He can be symbolized as a true Indian who grew for India, who made India rich, and the India that he inherited, he left India a better place. He embodied the true citizenship that is expected out of all our citizens uh, from the country. And it is, the world knows him about the nuclear scientist, or the Prithvi and Agni missiles, and he headed several nuclear explosions, missile man of India, and credited to develop satellite launch vehicle SLV, or polar satellite launch vehicle PSLV. But I must use this platform, Kanchan, to tell you, when I saw him first in 2001 at the Delhi railway station.
Okay.
And this is the best time to talk about it. In 2001, I was at Delhi railway station, and I saw this frail man coming out of the railway station carrying his own luggage. And I was sitting in my relative's cab, and waiting for someone, or I was trying to go somewhere, and I saw this frail man, and I just thought, I have seen him somewhere in some magazine. So in 2001, I did not have access to so many digital stuff that we see today. And as this frail man approached, I kind of figured out that he is APJ Abdul Kalam. 2001 was the time when he was far before his presidential years, and he was, I think, the advisor to government of India, if I'm correct at that time. And this was the night time, Kanchan. He comes out and carrying his own luggage, and then I see a car with a government beacon on this, and then I figured out that he's an advisor to the government of India, and then I realized, oh, I had read in some magazine.
Okay.
And that was, he looked at his watch, and it was pretty late in the night, and then he said something to the driver of that government car, and the guy turned the car and left him at the station and went off. Then there was another Fiat car. It looked like somebody's personal Fiat car came, and the driver came out. He greeted Dr. Kalam, and Dr. Kalam sat in that Fiat, unguarded, defense advisor to the India, sitting in the late night. And that was the simplicity of a man, because he was not on official duty at that point of time. He chose not to take the government official car.
Right.
And that is my first impression of Dr. Kalam, whom I saw in 2001.
Okay.
And till today, it is my real fortune to have seen him. And of course, I could not have interacted with him at that point of time.
Okay.
But that one glimpse of that great man has left very big imprint on my own thinking and my life.
Yes.
The interesting part, despite being the president of India, he lived like a frugal man. Our Rashtrapati Bhavan has 372 halls,
Right.
or rooms, you can say.
Right.
This man used probably just one of it.
Okay.
Second example of somebody as simple living in a Rashtrapati Bhavan after our first president, Dr. Rajendra Prasad. And after the presidency, our presidents have lived a very, very royal life. But we know Dr. Kalam carrying his laptop, carrying a Vision 2020 presentation for India, and going to each of those states and attending and talking to the assemblies. And what a great death that he got while he was delivering one such lecture, and he passed away.
Yeah.
So I mean, he is the real spirit that India had in the recent past. And we need to have more and more such people today, tomorrow, always, all the time, so that we can achieve bigger greatness. What do you think, Kanchan?
Yes, I think his profile, his personality was so, in spite of being so great, so full of energy and full of talent, in spite of this, that he was so humble in his dealing with people. And I also want to share with you that he also has huge contribution in healthcare, because he worked hard to make healthcare accessible to all. And Dr. Kalam worked with a cardiologist Soma Raju and developed low-cost coronary stunt, and which is called Kalam Raju stunt. So that is a huge contribution in terms of in the sector of healthcare. See, he being a president, he's accessible to people. He thinks about general people, and he really all his lifetime he worked towards that. So I think his birthday and his profile has to be celebrated again and again. Students in the school should be taught about his contribution to India in terms of defense segment and of course in healthcare.
That's true, Kanchan. One small point in his personality that baffles me most of the time is something that very few people have that. Dr. Kalam was always vocal about the achievements the scientific community can bring to this nation after independence. He was part of in 1960s onwards. He was always part of our space missions and as our missile man when India did not have those kind of footprints. So the first example comes in 1974 when we had our Pokhran. That was the first time, and that was the first time when India took notice. Dr. Kalam was not part of that project, but he was still part of the DRDO and ISRO at that point of time. I think it was DRDO. He must have been a junior scientific advisor or scientist at that point of time. But later, around 1990s, he was always part of the topmost decision-making body. I am told he was very close to some of the secret projects of India, which were secretly funded by Indira Gandhi, the Prime Minister of those days. So, and he had the courage of talking about India's progress and India's capability to the political masters, to the administrative service officers, to the bureaucracy. That is a great achievement of his personality. How many people achieve this? More or less, we always think the political masters are the bosses. They will call the last shots. They will decide it. Administrative officers will always bring in, so many other stuff to stall the innovation. But it takes a real courage of somebody like Dr. Kalam to make his way out of this bureaucracy, out of this political system, and make us proud at the end of the day. And that is something all the educated people, especially in the science, technology, in medical sciences, they need to stand for what they believe for the nation building. And when there is only one agenda, nation building, everything else can be set aside, Kanchan, isn't it?
Yes, and it was so lovely to really talk and recall about such a great person, President Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam. And I think it is this day today is celebrated as World Student Day. So I think schools and colleges should do something on this day and maybe teach some good finer points about the contribution of President Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam. So it was wonderful talking to you, Sudesh. We'll meet again
Thank you.
with a different topic. Bye-bye.
Bye.